Hey guys, Jynx here, and today I want to show you the easiest way to beat Alpha Suicune in the Christmas event. The fight is actually surprisingly easy and very simple to run with ults, even with the OT claws. Let's start with what you need to do to unlock the fight. To access Alpha Suicune, all you need to do is progress through Johto up to Route 37, just south of Ecruteak City. Even if you're level capped in Johto, because you're not done the story, you can still bring level 100s into this fight. So just go level them in a different region, and then you can bring them in here. No other raids need to be completed to get into this fight. I'm going to go over the mechanics of the fight quickly, and then when I show you the team, you can see what mechanics they're there to interact with. The first mechanic is at the beginning of the fight and lasts throughout it, and that's Suicune will use Whirlwind at the end of every turn. This means that every Pokemon will be swapped out at the end of every turn unless they're very heavy. The second mechanic happens when Suicune gets to around 65% HP. At this point, he'll get a shield that prevents being hit with the same move type consecutively. This means you have to alternate typing when attacking. For example, using Thunderbolt twice won't work because the shield will block all consecutive electric attacks until a different type attack is used on him. This will be the most important mechanic to pay attention to throughout the fight. The third mechanic happens at around 50%, where Suicune will use Calm Mind on itself and its adds. The +1 special attack here can make it hit very hard, so this definitely needs to be addressed by using a haze. The final mechanic is a permanent Tailwind. This makes it really tough to outspeed Suicune, which leads us to a strategy and a team that is actually very slow and bulky so that we can work through these mechanics. So let's take a look at the team you need. First off, a big thank you to Conclude for publishing the written guide on this. Please note that you need a minimum of 4 OT mons to do this fight. OT Star also does not work. They need to be full OT. You can't just buy them off the GTL or breed mons that you have never caught. Make sure they're not OT Star. Other than that, you can have a max of 2 bot or OT Star mons. There are 2 teams for this fight depending on your positioning. You can actually choose your position since the person who makes the link will always be in position 1 or the leftmost spot. The first person invited to the link will be in position 2 right beside them. The next person will be in position 3, and the last person will be in position 4 at the rightmost spot. This was added as a patch midway through the event in case you missed that, but it is massive for these kind of fights. I'll start with the easier team, being the outside roles of position 1 and 4. For these, you literally only need to make a Blissey. You will need nothing else. You can make a backup Lapras in case you make a mistake and go down, since you will need one when you're in position 2 or 3 anyways, but with a well-coordinated team, and as long as you're playing safe, you should only ever need Blissey in these spots. Blissey is heavy enough that the Whirlwind mechanic does not blow her away. You'll also only be taking special attacks throughout the fight, so you'll want to go full special defense. Any special defense nature and 31 special defense IV with 252 special defense EV, while also having 31 HP IV and 252 HP EV. For an item, you want to use the new Covert Mantle. This will ensure that you don't get frozen by Suicune's Ice Beam. As for moves, you'll need Snatch, Seismic Toss, Psywave, and Soft Boil. You'll be using Snatch on your teammate to get healing throughout the fight from Ingrain, and using Seismic Toss and Psywave to do damage to Suicune. These are set damage values, so attack and special attack don't matter. They'll do about 2% to Suicune per turn. Soft Boiled is just there for when your healer teammate needs to do something else, or if you're getting focused down and need some additional healing. I'd also recommend PP maxing your Seismic Toss and Psywave, just so you don't have to worry about PP throughout the fight, since you can't always choose which one you're going to use due to the typing shield. Other than that, you're going to need a minimum of 4 OTs on the team that are all level 100, so this position is much easier for alt runs or team sharing since you could just trade the Blissey and level up a few level 100s. I do recommend having the Lapras that I'm going to go over in just a moment, again just in case you make a mistake so you can recover the run. Now let's go over the teams for positions 2 and 3. The first Pokemon you'll need is Ferrothorn. I'd recommend going all Spadef, but I've heard that mixed Spadef Def builds can work for this also. All this one needs is the move Ingrain so that the adjacent Blissey can snatch it for passive healing throughout the fight. After the Ingrain goes off, you'll be Whirlwinded out or KO'd. You can also use Ferro as a sack later if you get Whirlwinded out. The second one you'll need is Jynx with the hidden ability Dry Skin. The only job of Jynx is to skill swap Dry Skin onto Blissey to allow it to heal from water attacks and rain. Almost any Jynx will be fine here. It'll be faster than Suicune as long as it has a choice scarf. Even with a minus speed nature and 0 speed IV, you'll still have enough speed if you just have 20 speed EVs on it, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Suicune has a speed of 269, so just make sure that with a scarf you're at least 270 speed. The next mon you'll need in this position is Lapras. This is the main one you're going to be using for the majority of the fight. You'll want Spadef Nature, 31 Special Defense and HP IVs, 252 Special Defense and HP EVs, and also the Water Absorb ability to tank the surfs that come throughout the fight. No other stats really matter when building it. For an item, you'll want an Assault Vest to further increase your special defense. The moves you're going to be using are Dragon Rage, Psy Wave, and Waterfall. The first two are similar to Blissey, just using set damage moves to chip away 2% at a time at Suicune, but having the two allows for changing types to work around the shield. Waterfall will be used to heal Blissey and the adjacent Lapras, since they'll have Water Absorb and you'll have Dry Skin on the Blisseys. Anytime Blissey or Lapras starts to get hurt, just Waterfall them to heal them up. Next you'll need Hidden Ability Prankster Sableye with Light Screen and Light Clay. Nothing else matters here, just use it to set Light Screen. That'll increase the Spadef of Blissey and Lapras even further. Murkrow will also be used to haze the Calm Mind away at 50%. Nothing matters here other than the Prankster ability to make sure that haze goes off guaranteed. For a final mon, you'll want to take a sack that's guaranteed to go down in one turn. This could be any squishy fire type like Chandelure, Volcarona, or anything else that you got kicking around in your box. Just make sure it's level 100 and it's not too bulky because you'll need it to go down in one turn. The last thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you don't have any speed ties on your Blisseys or your Lapras. Your Lapras and your Blisseys all need to go in a very specific order since you need to be mapping out which typing you're going to be using to work around the shield. To do this, make sure you link each other, your Laprases and Blisseys, before the fight, and if you have any speed issues, you can add or remove speed EVs by either adding a little bit or taking away a little bit of speed EV. You only have really one stat point to play with for this, but it should be enough to ensure that you don't have any speed ties. Name your Blissey and Lapras the speed that they have to, just to avoid any confusion during the fight. This is pretty good practice throughout all raids, especially when they have mechanics like this. Now that we have the mechanics and the team, let's see how it all comes together. The first thing you're going to need to know is the adds in this fight actually really matter. This part is kind of annoying, but you're going to have to reset the fight over and over, just forfeit right away on turn 1 until you get Ludicolo and Vaporeon. You can make do with Lapras as one of the adds, however it'll use Thunder, and if it uses Thunder on the Lapras it can paralyze it, and we noticed that this caused some problems in one of our runs as now you're risking your healing, so I'd really recommend just doing the reset until you get Ludicolo and Vaporeon. So here on turn 1 we're just snatching with the Blisseys and using Ingrain on the Ferrothorns. This Ingrain will last healing throughout the entire fight. Blissey is going to stay in the whole fight, and it'll be constantly healing little by little throughout every single turn. Coming into turn 2, you're going to have 2 random Pokemon in the middle roll since they got Whirlwinded out. If you get a Jynx that comes in, it could just skill swap right away onto Blissey. Otherwise, you're going to have to swap into your sack. If both went into sacks, then you're just going to bring in your Jynx, and then you can skill swap after that. You'll soft boil on your Blisseys here just to be safe to make sure that they heal up. Afterwards, one of your middle positions is going to bring Sableye in to ensure that you get your light screen up. Okay, so now we have our light screen set up from Sableye. Both of our Jynxes have passed the dry skin over to Blissey, so our Blisseys are healing from the water moves, and our 2 Laprases are in, and we have the light screen up. From here you can see in the chat, sometimes we're a little off topic, but I wanted to show how we set up our turn-by-turn moves. Since we have all our speeds in the name, it's really easy to tell who is going to move when. Until we hit 65%, the order doesn't really matter. You just need to choose any attack. Seismic Toss and Psywave have the most PPs, so that's the easiest ones to use. But once you hit the 65%, it's really important to make sure you're coordinating and choosing moves based on your speed so that you don't double up and use the same typing twice. So here you'll see I indicate to the team who is going to be using what move. It's a good idea to have one main shot caller who can just say what all 4 people are going to be doing every turn. This makes sure that there's no confusion and kind of just keeps everything pretty straightforward. So you see in that situation, our 138 speed Lapras was a little low, so we used our 134 speed Lapras to waterfall it and heal it up. We want to make sure we keep everything high HP. I'd much rather have to run through a fight a little bit longer than to have to redo it all because we got greedy off of 1 extra 2% attack. So from here on out, we're basically just going to be cycling through, making sure we're not doubling up on our moves until we hit the 50% Calm Mind, where we have to haze that off, and that's the same time that we're going to reinstate our light screen. It's really important to be communicating with your team throughout raids like this. We don't even really use mics to communicate at all. You can do it all in chat. It's pretty straightforward. Just make sure that you are communicating with your team. You're going to have to adapt a little bit based on whose Jynx comes out early or whose Sableye is still alive, who lost their sack, that kind of thing. So make sure that you are communicating. So here we sacked Ferrothorn so that he could bring in the Murkrow to haze off the Calm Mind. Since I don't have my Lapras here, I'm using Soft Boil just to make sure that I don't get hurt since I don't have any healing from Waterfall. So now we have the Calm Mind dealt with, we have our screen up, and pretty much we just go back into Lapras and keep cycling through for the rest of the fight. Just make sure we're not doubling up on turns. Even if you do double up on a typing by mistake, it doesn't really matter, it's just going to make the fight take a little bit longer. And just like that, we got him down. Super easy run. It's very consistent. And really, as long as you're not getting greedy and you make sure you keep up your healing, you should never lose a Lapras or a Blissey. Just always make sure that you are prioritizing healing over doing damage. It's much better to take an extra turn or two to knock off that last couple percentage than it is to redo the whole fight, especially since you have to reset the ads. That can be a little annoying and take a while sometimes. So I hope that this video helped you out. I've been missing a lot of the Christmas event with being away for family, so I'm sorry that I missed so much of it, but glad that I can get this one out for you. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. I appreciate it if you like it, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.